from that era. Now there are other martial artists that have come along many, many years after that. But that original core of people, um, and I don't know all the names, but from the pictures that I see, you have people like Gary Alexander, Lou Lazat, his partner Giulio Caravella or Caravello, um, Chapman, Ralph Bove, of course yourself, my sensei Ed McGrath. Um, there were others. I think the name Bonnie Baxter comes to my memory. Don't know if he was a practitioner though. I don't remember. I gotta go back and read how Sensei talks about Bonnie. But I think Bonnie Baxter had something to do with. I don't know if it was the coordination between the martial arts and the Marine Corps, or if it was something like that. He had a job that when he worked in the Marine Corps, just like you said about Nagel, I think he had something to do with. I don't know if it was the payment. I don't know if I don't know exactly what it was, but Barney Baxter's name came up a lot. Same thing with Ralph Bowles. His name came up a lot. Tough. Sensei said he was a tough, tough fighter, like hitting a piece of granite. Same thing with Rick Namira. Sensei said he was so. I guess because of the way he was brought up, being in an orphanage. Uh, yeah, he just was tough. Very, very hard man. Very
The Polish,
Polish. Yes,
the German,
he was mistreated, according to
oh yeah.
Sensei. He was beaten.
But I've seen in Mara, he was an MP
Yes,
on the streets, breaking a pair of handcuffs on the guy's head.
he was a toughie. You know, um, there's a story about him that says, I guess when he was an MP in the Marine Corps, I guess he had to go break things up, whatever was happening, and he was so strong, so physical, so talented when it came to martial arts that he was the first black belt that Don Nagel had. So he's the senior of all the black belts that trained with Don Nagel. As Sensei McGrath said, he died too young. He died in his late 40s, I think. And for a man of his strength and his intestinal fortitude to be cut down by a disease like cancer just tore Sensei up, because they were good friends. And Sensei Namira had a lot of work to do. Had he lived, who knows what he would have turned out, the students that he would have built. Um,
Wouldn't have revolution.
no. Well, maybe his children then. Maybe he might have spilled it onto his kids or something. You know,
He could fight.
he was a good fighter, yes. Tough. They say no matter how much you hit him, it didn't matter to Rick. He just kept right on coming. You know. So that has to tell you something about how he was wired. You know. And then you go and you put him in the Marine Corps. Oh, jeez. Of all things. But he was very, very special man to me. Very kind to me. Whenever he would come to Sensei's dojo and work out, he'd call me over. Come here, let me see your kata. Let me see this. Let me see that. And he'd, do this, and he'd straighten me out here and work with me.
Last time I saw Rick, he had just bought a 450 Honda.
Motorcycle.
Yeah. And I was always on a bike, but I had a 750 Suzuki at that time. And two of us rode into Havelock, and then he kept on going down the road, heading to Washington, D.C.
Where was he from? Was he from the D.C. area or Maryland?
He was a guy. He was a cop in D.C.
He was a cop in D.C. Okay. Where was he from though? Where did he?
He was.
Here you go.
But see, he came over from Europe and then went right to America.
Very young, right? He was very young. Yeah. Hey, thank God that they had that time together. Even though Sensei Namira passed away young, he left a tremendous impact on my father-in-law because they were such good friends. And as you said, he could fight. So Sensei loved to get in there with him and learn from him, you know. And because he was so tough, so hard to beat, um, it was always a challenge, you know, and that's how you get better. When you fight people that are, I don't want to say better, but, you know, more, maybe have a little more talent than you do, it just makes you work that much harder to try to, you know, get to where they are. That's all. Not that you ever will, but you can try. There's nothing wrong with trying. Um, Sensei McGrath had friends that he really, really admired and loved. And you know them all. Don Bohan, he called him Brother Bo. They were like two peas in a pod, those two. Everybody in the house called him Uncle Don. Um, Big man, big strappy guy, strong as an ox. Um, just very dear friends. They were very dear friends. That's the best way I could describe the relationship between those two men. And as I said about Rick Namir Sensei, there was something special about their relationship. They just got along well. They laughed well together. They cried well together. And they were dear friends. And whenever he would come and work out with us, as you said, he wasn't a teacher, but he enjoyed that camaraderie. When you would come and, you know,
He could work out with anybody
yeah,
and
yeah,
not hurt. And that was a real strong attribute. He could he could throw a punch and have it come within a millimeter of reality and not touch it. Now Nego believed that if you threw the punch, it ended at the end of your arm as far as you could go, and it had to go out there each time. And if the opponent was dumb enough to step inside of it, he got hit. He would, he didn't pull anything. When Nagel hit, he hit you.
he was one of those guys that you know, he grew up on the streets. He was a toughie, you know, from day one. And then when he got the Ishinru in him, as you said when we had dinner, just a great instinctive fighter. The way he moved. What else did you mention? His prowess on the deck. A very confident man. And as you said, he didn't pull anything. So when he hit you, 9 chances out of 10, you probably went to the ground anyway. So there was that sense of confidence in Sensei Nagel. And some say that he was born to go to Okinawa in the Marine Corps, meet Shimabuku Sensei, and learn Ishigo. Some say that it was predetermined by the powers that be that Nagel would be born, join the Marine Corps, go to Okinawa, and meet this little man called Shimabuku Sensei. Uh,
Don wasn't given the credit that he deserved in that area. He's the one that brought Son of Worker to the United States first time. He when Shotokan became so popular, and it became the karate of Japan. Uh, the emissary from Shotokan came to a tournament that Don was hosting in New Jersey, and explained to Don that now Shotokan was the controlling entity in karate, and that all promotions would go through Shotokan. Don didn't blow up on it or nothing. He just absorbed it. And the, during the break, he gets up on it. He has to go with the microphone and introduce this individual as the representative of Shotokan. That they were very lucky to have him there as a guest, and that he had agreed to kumite to show the differences in the styles. And Don got out there and knocked his ass out. Went over and took his obi out. Then went back up on the microphone. Said, when Mr. So-and-so thinks he rates 4th degree under Ishan Rulu, he can come to my dojo and get his obi back.
Hey, listen, as you said, the guy had, it just was in him. That's the kind of guy he was. He wasn't the biggest man in the world. As a matter of fact, he was very skinny.
Yeah, the little shits tried to steal my emblem from me.
Yeah.
I'm sure you've read it about the Laughing Devil.
Yeah. Laughing Red Devil. Right.
Oni, Japanese can't pronounce her. And so when they introduced me to a problem, they called me Oni. That's Oni.
Laughing Red Devil. Oni.
He's the kami or spirit,
Okay.
of mischief that lives under Mount Fujiyama.
Really?
And every time I got introduced, people would go, "Oh, Oni."
Oni. Yeah.
And I'm
Yeah.
like, when I got back to the States, someday we'll go through the old pictures, but you'll see the Oni on my deed. And when I sign my name, that's
That's it.
Oni.
Well, you're right about that. There's certain letters that they don't say. Like they told me when you say Ru, Ishin Ru, it's actually said with a D sound. Do, Ishin Do.
You know the Japanese, damn near never get cataracts.
With their eyes.
No, they prefer Rinkin Continentals.
Ringing kind of nails. I got it. Okay. You got me, Professor. I thought you were talking about cataracts in your eyes. No. That's Cadillac. No, they prefer Lincoln Continentals, I think. That's funny. Hey, listen, you learn something new every day. Um, Especially about those people. I've never been to Okinawa, but they say that you should go once in your lifetime. Go there, at least go to the tomb of Shimabuku Sensei and pay your respects. So someday I'll get to go to Okinawa.
Beautiful place. Was right. We were the first Americans back on Okinawa since the Second World War. When Baker Amtrak came in at White Beach, the Okinawans saw the camouflage covers. The Army didn't wear camouflage covers. The Okinawans saw the channel last night, covered the first three villages to White Beach. And, they didn't come back with us, they had this. They were the first Marines on the line, Sicily.
Wow.
There was only one paved road on Okinawa when I got there. That was Highway 1. It was the only one. It went all the way from Nago to Naha.
Other than north to the south.
Yeah. Other than that, there was no pavement, there was no dirt. Tea House of the August Moon was the only bar. And that was down by Naha. By the time I left the island, it was wall-to-wall bars.
Well, you know, once you get this.
$1.80.
All right, Sensei. Okay. We'll have to edit that part out. That's for you people that, you know, like to share that. It's interesting you say that there were no paved roads. Some of the pictures that you see from the people now that go there, obviously everything's all built up now and they have paved roads, they have electricity. In some places they have running water. Well, we have a representative that's serving in the Navy right now. His name is Andy Sloan. And whenever Americans go to Okinawa, he sets it up for them. He chaperones them, shows them places to go, takes them to the founder's tomb. And just recently, Ralph Hernandez from Florida went to Okinawa and he met up with Andy Sloan and Andy took him around. So Andy's like our ambassador. When you go to Okinawa, he'll get you, he'll let the Okinawans know that you're coming, which I think is protocol, and that you'll be received. They went to go see Angiwizu, Oichi Sensei, and they also worked out with Andy at the Air Force Base, because that's where he works. Kadena Air Force Base, which I think is the biggest Air Force base on the island, right?
Yeah.
So they built it up. As a matter of fact, I got a package going out to Andy in a couple days. He just sent me his address where to send it. He was just recently promoted to 6th degree black belt, Andy, by his sensei. And it's a big thing. It's a big thing. It's not very many people get to achieve that rank. So we wanted to do something special for him. He is serving in the Navy. He's away from home. But Okinawa, this is his second tour now. He went Okinawa, Korea, back to Okinawa. So I don't know where he's going after this, but he's very proud that he came back to the States. His sensei elevated him to 6th degree black belt, which is very well deserved. And he's a great practitioner, very knowledgeable. He's a young man. He's got a lot to learn, as do we all. But he has taken the necessary steps, and that's what's important. So, Professor, let's get back in that car again now, and let's go back a couple of years, and let's talk about this system now that you built. Let's give the name, and you say it so I don't mispronounce it. What is the name of the system?
Neko.
Neko.
Neko is a house cat. On the backs of our gis, who are practitioners of Neko, we have a tiger. That is a literary license, in that, and I am very well aware, and people on the internet keep correcting me saying, Neko is a house cat. I know it's a house cat. but I'm a professional, and I charge for my seminars. Now, which one is going to get me more money, the tiger or the cat? And so the tiger is a cat. He just happens to be my house cat. It's a license plate. Rule, of course, is the way up. We chose, or I chose, the name Neko because of the movements. I was not the originator of Neko. The originator was Nakabayashi Sensei of Botani. They put a formal book out that, if followed by the average Japanese businessman, in 4 hours of practice, could give him enough knowledge and enough natural movements to defend himself against an untrained attacker on the street. That was the whole purpose. Natural movements that would give you the edge over the untrained opponent. Nakabayashi Sensei was hired by Marine Corps through my own efforts as a consultant on hand-to-hand combat and on judo. And he's the one that introduced the concept to me. And then he used myself, Dave Garrett, and several of the other hand-to-hand combat instructors at Paris Island to develop the movements of the art. Within Neko is the house cat. You think of any cat in the world that's more powerful than a house cat, or that kills with more enjoyment than the house cat. It's the only one that'll kill for the fun of it. The others kill for food. The house cat. How did that house cat get that piece of meat that was sitting on top of the refrigerator?
Amazing. That always amazed me.
They can jump 7 times their height at their shoulder. They can climb a vertical pole with 3 times their body weight in their mouth. Why? You ever see a house cat do a push-up or a sit-up? No. They get strong because they align their movement. They align their muscles. Every movement that the house cat makes, the grace that you see in a cat, is caused by the total alignment of her body in the most efficient way. They're amazingly powerful for their size. Fast. And fast. And so, Neko. If somebody swings at you, and you're not trained, right? Both hands.
It's a reaction, right? It's a reaction.
First block and Neko. Second movement is a turn and a slap across the back of the neck. Simple. You don't have to think about it. Everything within the original Nekado system was done that way. Why does a person block this way? If this is hit, he should knock himself out. But turn it like a cat. Now here. And when you see the statue of the Japanese cat, how is he sitting?
Never thought of that. Never thought of that. Always wondered why they always had a pour up. I thought it was something to do with their food.
No, this is Gokengenyo, sign of good luck. And hit this way, it doesn't move. Hit this way, you knock yourself up.
A subtle little movement like turning the wrist.
And that's part of Neko. And so you learn to block this. Also, if you block this way, you have no recourse. You're gonna come across from here, his arms are no like you. But if you block this way, now he hits something solid, you need a little power. Come on. Neko. The alignment of the muscle. You're a very strong man, and you're young compared to me. But even sitting here, with one hand here, like this, you can straighten me out. One hand there, and the other one on my wrist. Straighten my arm out. Go ahead.
It's kind of hard. Kind of hard.
Do it again. But the Neko goes according to his muscles. And so the Neko curve. You align yourself like a cat.
There was always something about alignment that struck me as there's something there. I don't know exactly what it is. I'm not a scientist, but there is something when you align your muscles a certain way. Now you just proved it. You shared that with me, but always knew there was something about that.
Take your hands and separate my fingers. Thumb. Both hands.
It's kind of hard. It's kind of hard. I mean, I really have to get in there and, you know, but it has something to do with that, which is what you said about when you put your thumb on top. I'd like you to share with our listeners. You know, he told me before when you put your thumb to the middle of your hand, which is what we're trying to do when we, force that finger down to try to get it to the middle of our hand. So the strength, and it doesn't matter how big you are. It matters that yes, you want to get that thumb to the middle of the hand, and it just strengthens everything up. It's just amazing how that physics works. You know, everybody makes a fist with their thumb like this. Everybody does it like
Now
that.
I do that. Boom. It's a shock absorber. But put the thumb on top. Push down. Come back a little. There. Now push down to your palm. Where's your palm?
Yeah, it's amazing what they did with this, and now I know how to teach it a little better. Now that you explained to me that by bringing the thumb to the middle of the palm and looking at the alignment, if you will, of how that works, it's very strong. And even for females are not big. You know, they're not as strong as men. But little things like that, when you teach them things like that, driving that thumb to the middle of the palm, just how it strengthens things up.
You're the bad guy. You grab the good person. Good person does this. Now take your hand away.
It's kind of hard, Professor. It's hard.
Yeah, it's not the power being done. And you know why I've got it there? Because my next movement is
Yeah, it's to break it, right?
there's no power.
It hurts like hell, too, by the way.
Back to the alignment of the body like a cat.
The alignment of the body like a cat. There has to be a reason from a standstill they can jump, like you said, just like that with no effort. So, however they align that body to be able to spring up like that, it's quite amazing.
Yeah, watch them in slow motion sometime. We do. Why do they always land on their feet?
That's another thing that always amazed me about cats. I don't know if it's a combination of their balance and tail, but they do. They always seem to land on their feet.
It's their head.
Their head is what does it.
When they're dropping, you look at the ground and the body falls.
Interesting. All right, so we heard a little bit about now Nekaru as the system, is going on now, and you're out in the world, you're doing your seminars, because the professor is very active when it comes to going out into the world and teaching seminars. As he said, he's a professional. He gets paid for this. One of the things that comes to my mind about doing a seminar is when the people come, they have questions. What's this? What's that? How do you do this? How do you do that? So when you go to a seminar, what are some of the things that you may share with the people that come to your seminars?
First thing you have to do as a professional, and Lonnie Duncan did it as well as anyone, is you have to show them magic. You have to give them something impossible to believe. That's your coming on. You're throwing the bait out there. You throw the bait out there because now they see something that they shouldn't be believing.
How did he do that? You know?
So I teach feet. I teach movement body. I'm one of the few that does. Billman does not. Billman has his own world. I'm not going to say anything about the man. He teaches what he believes. I don't have to believe. So does Sakanowski. Sakanowski teaches combat ki. You want to go through life with the ultimate goal, be able to take the blow to the groin better than anybody else. That's your thing. I admire them that they sell it. They sell it very well. But ki is the inner strength. It's hard to explain to someone who has not learned anything about the control of it. Ki becomes second nature. If you practice the Zen exercise, it becomes extremely powerful. I utilize the direction of ki on all my movements. The reason I feel so powerful is because I'm aligning the energy of my body with the muscle alignment. And therefore, it sounds, this is what you celebrate. Because now they see it. I'll have my arm up like so, and have them put my hand on the back of their on their shoulder, back of their shoulder, and then put both their hands in here, and bend my elbow down to their chest. Now, naturally, they can do that easily because they have all the leverage. They can't do it all with me because I utilize the flow of the ki to have the arm stay straight. I don't tighten any muscles on it. You've seen that already.
Last time I was here, you did it to me.
The arm comes on, pressure comes here, and what you have created is a suspension bridge. It's not mysterious, it's not magic, but it looks like it to the audience. Suspension.
knew there was something about the alignment. Once we mentioned that word, aligning your muscles with your body and your mind is very powerful. And then, of course, the breath.
Here, the key goes this way. When you try to straighten the arm, I don't tighten anything up. I just think very strongly about the flow going out my fingers. That's all I do is think about it. It's that simple. Don't believe me? Put your hand just like that. What? Now, take a breath, normal breath, and then as I put pressure on you, allow the breath to come out slowly. Now just think about flow of strength going through. Think about it, you're losing it. Think, there it is. Like you. And I do it well.
And that's why I guess it looks like no effort. When I watch you, it doesn't look like you're doing anything, but it's that inner energy and the alignment that when you put those two together, it's almost like an unstoppable power.
There's no mystery to it. The charlatans that try to sell it as a mystery, they're doing a disservice to their students. You're playing your student for a fool. Allow them to know the actual reason that such and such works. It works for a basic physical reality. It's not magic. And now we segue from the magic that you show them to begin with, the unbendable arm, the ability to stand like this with your back against the wall and have 6 or 8 people try to bend your arm in. And they can't do it. Well, they can't do it because my alignment won't allow the bend. They would have to tear their tendons and the ligaments out in order to make that way they move. And sometimes you have to cheat it. When they're pulling. If they, as they pull down and they push here, pull there, if they start to get the better of it, very quickly, you follow the fingers.
Very difficult. And I'm putting some pressure on you. I am.
Can't change the angle of the collar by doing. Nothing at all mysterious about it. It's physics.
That's another thing about martial arts, that's why they call it an art, which there is the science, the physics, and then let's add the alignment.
Control of the muscle.
Yeah.
Control of the muscle. You got a good grip, don't you?
Yes, sir.
Okay, bear my finger. Tightly. Tightly. Don't let me pull it out. See how tight it is? Keep it that way. Tightly. Tightly. Got it?
So, like you said, you have to show them something like that. Get them, and now you got them. You showed them something that's, I mean, I had you pretty good there.
Got it?
I got it. I mean, that's a pretty strong grip I got. And I don't know what you did there to make me release. I don't know if it was
There was nothing I did there.
how did that happen?
Span fingers on either side there. If I'm strong and I try to pull it out, see how strong, how you can grab hold of it, but
Okay, so it's the same concept with the thumb that you can always get out by the thumb.
feel this and this. Now you can hold. But if I relax it totally without resistance, there is no strength. Hold it.
Oh, so you let go.
All I did was
You just let go. You just took all the strength out of your hand, let it go limp, and just pulled it right out. Which was the same thing you did when I grabbed you with the neck. A little push pull, and I'm right out.
There's no mystery to it. It's a learning process. It's like dancing. I can't stand up on one toe and pivot around like a ballet dancer. But the ballet dancer can do it. Why? Because they practice.
Practice over and over and over again to do it,
And
right?
so I practice how to go loose.
Loose, how to go loose. Let it go, and you come right out. So say that again. No resistance. How did you say that?
There is no strength without resistance.
There's no strength without resistance. So when you go limp, no matter how much I squeeze, no matter how hard I try to keep it, because you go limp, it comes right out. Think about that a second. Think about that, because now when I get hit, if I put up the, like you said, the sunshine, you're going to get hurt. But if I go limp, there's no strength there now. There's nothing for it to stop against. I just let it come. I just go limp, which is the same principle here. I'm squeezing as hard as I can, and you just go limp and come right out. Interesting. I hope you are all listening to this, because this is valuable stuff here, okay? This is coming from someone who has practiced his whole life. He's gone through the Marine Corps, come through that experience, went into civilian life, went to work, continued to do what he did. Let's talk about the children now a second. And I know you're very proud of your son, Moose. First of all, I have to say this about him. He's a very, very talented artist. Somehow or another, he can see something and make it happen on paper. I find that extraordinary. I mean, when I do that, if I was to try to draw your face, it would look like I'm just terrible at it. I can't translate what I see into the paper.
You saw the picture of the t-shirt of your guy.
Yes. Yes. Which is on your Facebook page. It's you wearing that shirt. The detail, how he can transcribe what he sees in his head. My
Practice.
Yes. Yes, Sensei, but yes, I will agree to that. Yes, he practices, but there's extraordinary talent there. I can practice it, Sensei. I can sit here and practice it.
His mother saw that. And if Moose wanted to draw, she would find the paper and the pencils and so on that he needed to draw with. She would allow him to stay home from school to draw.
Wow.
When he was in high school, he submitted a couple of abstracts to a high school art show. They sold out of the art show right there for $200 a piece. Both of them ended up on the covers of science fiction magazines. The world-renowned artist John Lockhart, who did the murals at the Detroit Museum of Art, saw the talent in myself and gave me free rides to the university. So Moose had that back into him too. He learned how to do charcoal and how to use different portions of the mediums from his teacher at that time, it was John Lockhart.
You're very talented when it comes to that. And then, aside from the talent, you have to be very, very intelligent. Or your brain has to be a very intelligent brain to be able to see something and then put it on the paper.
If people are interested in that sort of thing, you can follow his daily cartoon on the internet.
Yeah, yeah.
It's satirical, but it's good.
It is good. I mean, it is something that you sort of look forward to. Like, what's he going to do tomorrow? You know, if he did that today, what's he doing tomorrow? So,
But Moose,
yeah, let's talk about this.
Moose will be celebrating this year his 50th anniversary of practicing the martial arts. Not once a week, but for a couple hours or something like that, but practicing the lifestyle of it and living the martial arts. And it's different ways of influencing himself and people and the world in general. He's very subtle, but he's an extremely talented martial artist.
Take your time, Professor. Take your time.
I think I'll go around the house too.
All right, I'll just put this on hold for a few minutes. So again, folks, we're sitting here, with the legendary Professor Cates, and just now, touching upon, him sharing his knowledge and his ways and means with his son. As you heard him say, Moose is a very talented martial artist. I'm not his father, so I can say it this way. I know that coming from his father, sometimes you might think, well, it's his son, so of course he's going to say that. But the professor is being honest. Moose is a very talented martial artist. Obviously, he comes from, the finest ilk of martial arts in this world. I mean, look at who his father is. But on top of that, getting away from the fact that Professor Cates is his instructor and his father, he took the system and did what he had to do with it. Okay, he is like I said, a very talented martial artist. He is a very talented artist. And the few times that I've had the privilege of being around Sensei Moose Gates, I learned a lot because, as his father said, he practiced. He did what he had to do to become the martial artist that he is. So one of the things that we want to speak to the professor about, um, obviously it's your son, all right? So as I just told the listeners, um, to give your life and your time, your commitment, um, just about every fiber in your body to do what Moose does. We're here now in 2016. What would you like to see the system evolve to, let's say, the next 5 or 10 years? What would you like to see?
I would really like to see, and we're gaining it, we're getting there one small step at a time. There's a movie starring Jet Li. Uh, I use it a lot in my lectures. In the movie, Jet Li plays the part of a martial artist who's coming into his own, and anyway, he goes through the ranks of these different martial artists, and he's a winner. And now he's going to fight a Japanese jiu-jitsu practitioner. Out of respect for the enemy or for the person that he's going to fight, the two of them decide to get together and have tea and talk with each other and get to understand each other. Well, in this scene, where they're sitting there, the Japanese goes through the tea soil. And it's very formal, very slow, very exact. Everything has to be done exactly right. The Chinese, the jet lady, picks up a cup of hot water, takes some tea, and sprinkles it into the water. A very revealing thing has just happened. You can go through all of the magic and the ceremonies and the beliefs and the prayers and whatever else you want to do in making that tea. But what do you end up with?
We both have tea.
Tea. And that's what it is in the martial arts. Martial arts have been around for thousands of years. You are not going to invent anything new. Your secrets are no secrets. If you're spouting bullshit, it's still bullshit. It's not martial arts. If you're talking in a serious manner or talking about something you really believe in, what is it? It's tea.
It's tea. It's still tea.
It's still tea. And whether it be Ishanryu, Shotokan, Ichikan, Judo, Jiu-Jitsu, Aikido, whatever it might be, what is it in the end?
It's still tea.
It's tea. And if you remember that, when you practice your very personal secret martial art, it's still tea.
Well, thank you for sharing that with us, Professor, because there are a lot of people think that their brand of tea is better than your brand of tea. And I think when you use that,
It's only the taste
okay,
of the individual.
okay, I'll agree to that. That's right.
Okay.
You may like black tea, I may like Twinings. That's okay. But at the end of it, it's still tea. So um, I appreciate you sharing that with us because, from your perspective, it hits home. No matter what you practice, no matter how you practice it, at the end of the day, it's still tea. So let's not get ahead of ourselves. Let's not get behind ourselves. Let's just be real and know that what we practice is what we practice. And it's not any better than you or me or anything else. It's still tea. Shimabuku Sensei used water. That all bottles are good because they all hold the water. That's why we use the bottle. Otherwise, we would just take it in our hand and put the water in our mouth. But to put it in a bottle and put it in our mouth and drink it that way is why the water is the water. No matter whether the bottle is round, square, oblong, when you put the water in the bottle, the water is what's in the bottle. So,
Most popular bar in the Osaka, which is the entertainment district of Tokyo, is the Ocha no Mizu.
Ocho no Mizu.
Ocha
Ocha
no
no
Mizu.
Mizu. Ocha no Mizu.
The students from the Kodokan and from all the small dojos all over Tokyo, if they're having an evening out, will go to the Osaka, which is the floating world, and they will go probably to the Ocha no Mizu, is where I went. Ocha. Tea. No Mizu. The water of tea.
Well, that's another thing now. If you have the tea and you don't have any water, what good is the tea now? You gotta have a little water to to mix the tea with. So what does that tell you? When you put the two components together, you get the tea. Well, it was put to me like this. Once they teach you the curriculum, you're supposed to take that curriculum and enhance it within yourself.
Got that. This is a good point because I've seen the films and I'm sure you have too. of Sengoku Sensei doing a kata, he had a habit. If he made a mistake or something, he would go, watch him in the kata. He makes a mistake and he goes, that means that when you teach that kata to a young karateka, you must teach if you're going to be accurate.
Well, there is a lot of talk about that, Sensei. Thank God we have those remnants that when he came to this country, they were able to do what we're doing here and preserve them. When I first started in the system was evolving, so things were changing. As we do it today, as you said before, the system has grown. The system has evolved over the 60 years that it's been being practiced. One of the things that comes to my mind is that inner energy that you talked about, how you practice the Zen principles and train your mind, train your body to be able to withstand the hit. Because I mean, in the fight, I wish I could say that I wasn't going to get hit, but nobody's perfect. You know, 9 chances out of 10 when you're in a situation where it's going to go, and you know this guy's going to go for you, that adrenaline comes out, and you know, your body is what they call adrenalized, and it changes. Your thoughts, your strength, everything changes. So we try to train in a way that gets us prepared for when that person is going to attack us, that we just react, we don't think about it. Because once you have to think about it, by that time you're probably already beat.
Evolution.
Yeah, that's a very, with no mind, no thoughts. Very hard. That's a very hard principle to try to achieve, Mushin, because while you're trying to achieve it, you are breathing, you are processing, even though it may be subconscious processing. Your internal organs are still working. You're breathing. Your heart is pumping. So the brain is working to do those things, to keep those things working, but to clear your mind of thoughts, not process any thoughts. And when you're attacked, your brain will figure it out as to what you should do. So therefore, the reaction, rather than, we call it like the flinch response. When you sneeze, once that sneeze is going to happen, it's almost impossible to stop it. You know, when you're going to sneeze, it just comes out. Well, that flinch response, just like when you put your hand over fire, ooh, that's hot. It's a natural reaction to pull your hand back. If you don't, you're going to get burned. And your body knows that. Your body knows that if you don't pull that hand back, it's going to get burned. So that reaction, that flinch response reaction, is what I train. I try to keep my flinch response very, as you said, loose. Because the minute you tense up and you get that like that feeling, everything goes to shit, if you will. So, well, listen, I really appreciated our time together. We've spent about 2.5 hours building a session. Um, I mean, I could sit here and talk to you forever, Professor, but it is a long ride for me to get back to Wake Forest. And now I don't know what I'll hit tonight going home. Hopefully the construction's off already now, the roadway. So we'll follow up. And then, of course, yes, it is the 4th of July weekend. And it's Friday night now, so everybody is off from work. The weekend's happening, so I can only imagine what it'll be like getting back to Wake Forest.
Got to drive with the machine.
Yes, Right, just no mind, right? Mindless, no thoughts. But thank you for taking the time for having me over. Let me come and he took me to dinner, which was very nice. We got to break bread today. You know I'm Italian, so it's a big thing to me. Um, Ever since I was a boy, when I worked with my mom in her store, my mom cooked for thousands of people, thousands of them, from the breakfast, the lunch, the dinners. My mom had a big store, so she taught me a very good work ethic, Professor, getting up early, getting, ahead of the game, if you will. And I really appreciate that. So for you to take the time for me today and let me come to your home, spend time with me, you know, in human words, I could say thank you, but it's to me that's not enough.
It's exciting. Understand, I moved from a very, very busy world to a town in the mountains that has 400 people. I
Did
suffered.
you hear that? 400 people. All right.
I suffered from severe PTSD. I get, and I am being treated for it. I uh, get nightmares. You know that up here in the mountains, I look forward to the nightmares because it's the only excitement I get.
Well, hey, listen. I get it. I mean, you had explained that to me when we were on our way to dinner. That it's a small town. It is up here in the mountains, up in the Blue Ridge Mountains. It's beautiful, by the way. If you could only see what I'm saying. This is the place where you would want to be to live this kind of life because I come from Manhattan. 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, buses, fire engines, fire alarms, this and that. So no matter what, we fell asleep with a lot of noise around us. Trains, cars, buses, everything. So to be up here and see the way people live around here, um, it's pretty refreshing because I like it quiet. Now that I'm getting older, I like it quiet. I come from a place where it was very noisy, so. But it's beautiful up here, and it's a wonderful opportunity for me to get out of Raleigh, come up to Bakersville, and come and visit with my sensei. It's
By all means, come back and enjoy the quiet.
yeah,
Sit up here and listen to the quiet.
yeah. Love the sound of the birds, especially in the mornings. I'm an early riser, so I get up early, and it's for my days in construction. So for me to get up 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning is normal. That's why I go to bed early. That's why I don't eat after 6 o'clock. Even if I'm hungry, Professor, I will not eat after 6 o'clock. Something that my mom taught me. You're gonna go to bed now. Well, you're gonna have all that food laying in your stomach. That's no good. You know, it's not healthy for you. So it's one of my rules. When 6 o'clock hits, if I haven't had anything to eat, I'll make it till tomorrow. I got plenty on me where I'm not gonna starve. So it's just like these. Yeah, see now that the air conditioner turned on, listen how quiet it is, folks. The only thing you hear is the birds.
What's pretty is our neighbors, our children with Down syndrome. Okay, they are the gentlest people. In the evening, one of the girls will usually, right now, will come out and swing, and will swing down there, and she'll sing. She isn't singing anything that you'll recognize, but it's very, very sweet. And it really sounds good. I was telling him about our neighbors